to you.
You don't open a dossier
I know, that's what I'm talking to them about right now.
A smart, beautiful woman uses her body and lust in order to take advantage of men with large sum of donations. Notable people tend to help her without knowing any better, and soon with her tactics she finds herself as the mayor of the town. But before we begin, please consider subscribing to our channel. The movie starts in 2016, just before the presidential elections. The voice of Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump can be heard over their debate. Strategists from both the parties, Democrat Gary Zimmer and Republican Faith Brewster, tell the press exactly what they want to hear and await as their candidate prepare for election day. After Trump's election, Gary's career falls into a decline. Former Colonel Jack Hastings goes to a town hall meeting where he protests the shutdown of a program that would benefit undocumented immigrants. A video of him sticking up for them goes viral and gets Gary's attention. He resolves with his team that he can get Jack to run as a Democratic nominee for the town's mayor in an effort to bounce back and get the country to vote blue in the next presidential election. Gary flies and is greeted by quirky local. He rents out a place above the local pub. The day after he arrives, he goes to Jack's house to meet with him and his daughter Diana. Gary does his best to convince Jack to run for mayor, even though he is not interested at first since he leans more conservative. Gary manages to get Jack on board as long as he promises to run the campaign himself. Gary and Jack begin the campaign run by having Jack announce before a small press gathering that he is running for mayor, but it's done so awkwardly because he does not know what to do, and Gary had some cows set in the background for a more authentic rural look. Gary spends more time with Jack and they get some of the townspeople involved in the campaign. Soon, Faith is sent by the Republican National Committee to help Jack's opponent, Mayor Brown, win re-election. Gary knows she is around when he sees a billboard for Brown with an unnecessary semicolon because Faith is notorious for that type of thing. Diana and the other townsfolk see this as a blow to their campaign. But Gary is unbothered because he views the Republicans' move as an act of desperation. Gary also spends more time with Diana, trying to form a connection with her and hearing her overwhelming desire to fight for the town. Gary and Faith's rivalry drives his desire to push the campaign further to his advantage. They each use their own tactic to piss each other off, which starts to bring Jack's number higher and Brown's number lower. Gary then decides to bring Jack to New York to score donors for the campaign. When they are brought before a bunch of potential donors, he gives a rousing and honest speech regarding the need for donation and why he should be trying to convince them to do so. The speech ends up moving them and earns them a victory. Gary uses the donation to upgrade the campaigning methods, like giving them Wi-Fi access instead of the dial-up like they had to use. He brings his own people like Kurt and Diana. However, Gary acts like a jerk to the volunteers and Diana has to tell him to behave better if he wants them to work with him. The campaign hits a snag when a group of nuns threatens to boycott them when they learn that one of Gary's team members promised that the government would pay for contraceptions for schools. Conservative news outlets like Fox News also try to hurt Jack's name by pitting him against the veteran demographic by showing that he has aligned himself with Democrats. When Gary tries to talk to Jack and Diana about the campaign's potential failure, they seem fine with it, but Gary wants to keep it going and stoop to the Republican level to try and dig up dirt on them. Diana is put off by Gary's attempted tactic and she even goes to Brown himself for advice. A new scandal appears to arise in the form of Brown supposedly having conceived a love child out of wedlock, but the scandal proves to be false. Brown and Diana try to put a bigger scandal to discredit the other scandal, but everything is dropped after it turns out to be all hog. The day of the election arrives and Gary learns that one of his team members orchestrated things to bring him to Durlaken. Gary and Faith sees that nobody voted, so they rush to City Hall to find that Jack and Brown are apparently tied. When Gary tries to get to the bottom of things, he learns that he has been played from the jump. The whole viral video of Jack sticking up for the immigrants was set up, as was the whole election. It was planned by Jack and Diana as a means to get donation to the town since it had been struggling for a while, and they knew that all of the incoming donations would benefit them. Gary realizes that he got fooled and also tries to make one last shot with Diana, but she says that he is too old for her, and she also points out that that how other politicians exploit small towns like Durlaken for profit, so they tried a similar tactic. Faith, however, is impressed by the whole gambit. 6 months later, Jack and Diana are shown making plans for something new in town. Gary then comes out and appears to be in relationship with Diana. This proves to be fantasy of his, and he's with the cafe woman. This is another fantasy, and he's actually now in a sexual relationship with Faith. Further text implies that Diana was elected as the mayor. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let us know in the comment section below which movie you want us to recap next. As always, until the next time.